All right, guys, I think I am finally live here. Let's see if the audio is coming in clean. I'm actually not seeing the audio now. Now the audio might not be working. Let me check this. This is crazy. One moment. Give a thumbs up if you can hear the audio. Give a thumbs down if you can't. You can hear me. All right, perfect, sweet. Well, it takes a little while to get these things set up. I appreciate your guys' patience. I had it tested, but technology, I'm sure you guys have all experienced that. It doesn't always work the first time around. So if you guys could do me a favor, just share this link in the Telegram group and the Discord room. I'm sure a couple people are looking for this channel now that I had to cancel the last stream. And yeah, thanks guys for the patience. I appreciate that. So first off, to start, I kind of just want to lay out the flow of, how I'd love to go about this. Of course, I want this to be an AMA, answer all of your guys' questions, everything that's on your minds. However, I feel like, I may know of which questions you're already going to ask, things like roadmap and launchpads and all these kinds of things. So I've written down a little bit of a flow for myself to follow here. And hopefully this flow takes, maybe 15, 20 minutes or so. We'll see how concise I can make it. And then from there on, I would love to go into the Q&A, answer your guys' questions. And feel free to drop your questions in the chat as I'm kind of doing the quote unquote monologue, or just the quick update, I guess you could say. And then I'll scroll back and I will answer pretty much everything, unless any intelligent question that other people would find value in. Let's put it that way. I'll go through all of those questions. So, sparkling water, an absolute necessity. Let's start out with a quick update. So some things that you may not know, of course, is that we are working crazy behind the scenes right now, and a lot of things are not public facing. So right now, just so you guys get an understanding of the scale that TrustSwap has kind of built to, right now we have essentially 3 dev teams working. So we have Adam, obviously our CTO, Adam Barlam. He has a team of 5 developers. They're all currently working on Swappable. We have the team finance guys. So as everyone knows, back a month or so ago, we acquired one of our competitors, Team Finance, or I guess you could say Aqua Hire, because now they're part of our team. They also have a team of about 5-6 developers who are all working on TrustSwap. Then we also have a team of freelancers, and that's another handful of developers. And we've just recently onboarded a new technical project manager to oversee essentially that team of like 15, 20 developers, so we can all be streamlined, unified, really working together and moving forward very quickly. And I think, as you'll see in the next 15, 20 minutes through this recap, it's exactly what we're doing. We're really hitting it hard. We're not pulling any punches. We're going full speed on this. And so I'm really excited about that. In addition, not only on the development side, but also on the operational side, we've just hired a chief operations officer, a COO, to join TrustSwap in the C-suite, the executive team. This hire is not public yet. He's still working on another project, but he is top-notch. He's been helping us out, getting our things organized. His main goal is to help with strategy, team efficiency, optimization, brand strategy, everything that a COO would do. And he's just been on point. We've been working with him for the last month or so, and it's been absolutely incredible. Let's see. Of course, we have our Launchpad team, or maybe you guys don't even know about this, but it's not just, projects who approach us. We get a lot of those, but sometimes you have to go out and search for the Launchpad projects, or the good projects. It's like, the gold's not going to land on your doorstep. Sometimes you got to go digging for it, especially with a lot of Launchpads out there though now. We started TrustSwap and Binance were really the only ones, and maybe KuCoin and a couple changes. Now it's really saturated. So now we've onboarded a team. There's about 4 people. 1 person is full-time. The other 3 are part-time. And their sole job is to scout launchpads, rate launchpads, open up conversations, and see if the tokenomics and a lot of these things are relevant for TrustSwap. In the last little while, there's actually been a lot of projects that have launched, and they've done quite well, to be honest. Finex Flow was one of them that we were in a conversation. They launched yesterday. I think they did a 10x out of the gate. So congrats to them. But, TrustSwap passed on Finex Flow for various reasons. And there's also been a couple that have also done fairly well, but we've passed. So I'll kind of dive into Launchpad stuff in a little bit. That's further down my list. I just kind of want to try to be methodical, so I'm not jumping around too much. Also on updates, if people haven't seen, as I mentioned, Team Finance developers, we onboarded these guys. They ported over their platform, and TrustSwap now has $130 million of total value locked into our smart contracts. So that's substantial. That is actually in the top 25 on DeFi Pulse. We're not yet on DeFi Pulse. We're in contact with them. That'll be soon. But I think that's something to be incredibly proud of. Top 25 in all of crypto for total value locked. And that's growing. I think it was at the beginning of February, we were at $100 million. Now we're at $130 million. So that's very cool. Right on. Love to see everyone in here. 95 people. That's awesome. Lots of good comments. I'm looking forward to going through these. And like I said, I'll try to condense all the information to the start and then go through everyone's questions. So the next section that I kind of want to pop into is the section that, what are we currently working on? And what are the roadmap, the timelines for all these things that we're building? I'll be the first to admit we're announcing a lot of things, but not a lot of products have been pushed out yet. So, we're announcing this, we're announcing that, and I'll get into all these things, but yeah, nothing is rolled out. And so it could feel like empty promises to some, but I can guarantee you behind the scenes, these are not empty code bases. And they're going to be being pushed out very shortly and some very substantial things. So let's dive into what it is that we're working on right now so you guys can get an understanding, because I feel like, we've kind of been a little bit secret with our roadmap and just working. But here we go. This will be a good nugget for you. So essentially, we are continually updating our website. So right now we have 2 website updates coming. So update number 1, is going to be an interim update. And this should actually be pushed live by the end of the week. It's going to be a total reskin of our current website. And so I say reskin, so it'll just look different. It'll look cleaner, nicer, more modern. But then within the next month and a half, we actually hired on a professional firm called ETHWorks, and they've done websites for IOTA. Check out their website. I won't even go through their portfolio. It's absolutely incredible, the projects that these guys have worked with. So that's ETHWorks, I believe, .io, and they're going to be redoing our website from the ground up. And it will be a lot more intuitive. It won't just be this big, long scroll. There'll be really beautiful click paths, incredibly intuitive, bring all of our systems together, because right now they're really fragmented, hard to find. Not a lot of them even aren't on brand. I think we're very spread out. So this is going to really unify, our brand, the ability for someone to onboard, to find things easily and navigate. So I'm very excited for that. Of course, alongside that, we're going to have our white paper that's actively being worked on. So we're going to have essentially 2 versions of the white paper. One will just be the standard PDF. The other is going to be something called a Git book. So it'll essentially be like an index on the left side of the page. You could just scroll and it's kind of like choose your own adventure in the white paper. It's just a little bit different kind of dev style of looking at the white paper. And I think it'll be really beneficial for people because there's so much happening in the TrustSwap ecosystem. They'll be able to quickly navigate to find the things that they want to find and all the FAQs and information. So that will be a huge value add. And we'll probably roll that out at the same time as the full website redo in about 30, 40, 45 days, because we do want to brand the white paper quite nice as well. So of course, with the website, we're going to be adding on a direct fiat on-ramp. So this means you're going to be able to buy swap with your credit card right from the TrustSwap website. The fees are going to be minimal. And in addition, we're also working on something really cool that hasn't been announced yet. So this is kind of the first sneak peek that we're working on. So step 1 is the fiat on-ramp, buy swap. Amazing, super easy. You don't have to pay the crazy gas fees. It's going to be going through, I won't announce the company name. You guys will find that out soon. But the cool thing that I'm excited for is what we're working on is being able to participate in Launchpad projects through a fiat on-ramp. So you want to get into Modify? Sweet, put in your credit card. Boom, $1,000 allocation, $3,000 allocation, you're in. And so I'm very excited for that. That's going to be a game changer. That'll be a first. Of course, easily duplicatable. I'm not ever trying to, hold a stranglehold on the market. You just want to be innovative and continue to innovate, and that's exactly what we're doing. But to play devil's advocate, the next point, Mint. If everyone hasn't heard of Mint yet, this is going to be maybe a little bit more long-winded, but I'll try to keep it concise. Mint is essentially TrustSwap's token generator. So you'll be able to create any token that you want with any parameters, whatever the total supply is. If you want an inflationary, deflationary, rebase, whatever you want. It's the most customizable token generator out there. Now, this in itself is cool. And another cool feature is it's free to use. And 0.4% of all the tokens that are, let's say you generate 1,000 tokens for your new token, it's just be a couple clicks. It'll literally take you a minute and be free to do besides gas cost. 4 tokens are going to get taken out, and then the TrustSwap community can mine those tokens. So if you want to take swap and put it into, let's say, the XYZ token mine, well, it's going to be a 30-day mine, and you're going to be receiving tokens every day that you're in that mine, proportional to what your mine percentages. So if you own 10% of the mine, you're going to be getting 10% daily. So all these new tokens are going to be generated, and 0.4% of them, which is actually quite substantial. If you do 0.4% of any fully diluted market cap of like a regular crypto on the market, that's a substantial amount that is going to be essentially free to mine for swap stakers, and which is fantastic because a lot of people are saying, well, once the TrustSwap main staking portal fills up, what's the value in being in that staking portal? Or why would we ever buy swap? Well, here it is. We're introducing another staking portal just like we promised we would. And so this is going to allow you to mine tokens that are generated through Mint. In addition, something that we're working on, this may not come out in phase 1, but it definitely will come out in phase 2, is the big dilemma is, well, then do I stake in the regular swap staking pool or do I stake over in Mint to kind of get this yield farm thing going? And the answer is do both, because if you're staked in the main TrustSwap staking pool, you're going to earn a multiplier. So on whatever you're mining. So if you're only 10% of the pool, well, now because you're staked over here, you're going to earn 15%. So they'll be compounding, and I'm very excited for that. So Mint, we anticipate will launch late Q1, early Q2, and it's beautiful. If you guys haven't seen it yet, just look it up on a TrustSwap Medium. It's very, very, very well done. Built by the guys at Team Finance and actually conceptualized by them as well. So earlier I mentioned, about the stranglehold on the market. We don't want to essentially just like create the monolith. Well, in this instance, we do, because what we're doing, here's the goal, here's the vision, is right now we have token locks and liquidity locks. And right now we're number 1. We're leading. We just acquired our number 1 competitor. And so we're number 1 by a mile in both of those regards. But the problem with token locks and liquidity locks is they don't really ensure security for a crypto project, because teams can still mint additional tokens. They can create additional supply and dump those. There can be contract exploits that are either put in there intentionally or unintentionally that are just exploited. So what if you looped the token generator from TrustSwap called Mint, and it's audited, it's free to use. So you're saving yourself up to $50,000 on development costs. You're saving yourself on audit costs. You're saving yourself a month on development time and audit time as well. You just click a couple buttons. In 1 minute, you're done. And then you can link in with the liquidity locks, and you link in with the team token locks. Boom. You have completed the holy trinity of security. And that is where we're looking to corner the market. This is entirely free to do for any project. The only fee is going to be 0.4% that swap stakers can mine. And the question is going to become, for any new project, why aren't you using Smart Launch? That is the name of the ecosystem, Smart Launch. So if you're doing all 3, that's a Smart Launch. We're going to have a full browser that says, check, they got the liquidity locks. Here's what percentage of liquidity. Check, they got the team token locks. Here's what percentage of tokens. And check, they got Team Mint. And here are the variables that they put into their token. Because of course, we're also going to allow for projects to be able to mint new tokens, but that's a vulnerability. So that's going to be listed. Everything will be fully transparent. And the idea is that all tokens on the Ethereum blockchain are going to be going through the TrustSwap Smart Launch, because there is going to be no reason not to. There's a new innovation, just say Rebase came in not too long ago. We're going to include Rebase. We're going to get that function audited. Boom, we're going to add it on like a puzzle piece. So this is going to grow, it's going to expand, and eventually there's going to be no reason, very quickly, there's going to be no reason for projects not to use TrustSwap Smart Launch. And we very much do plan to corner the market in that regard. Right now, I'm just talking about Ethereum. So the next thing that I'm talking about is cross-chain functionality. We got Binance, we got Polkadot, and we got Matic. So where are we at with all of those? Well, first of all, here's the link for all you guys. Binance Smart Chain, we've already pushed to testnet. So we already have token locks and liquidity locks on Binance Smart Chain. So all we're doing right now is we're organizing a big PR push with Binance. We're going to get all the stuff together. We're going to put onto the Team Finance website. You can just toggle between BSC, Binance Smart Chain, and Ethereum. Boom, do your token locks, do your liquidity locks. We got both these ecosystems together. We're expanding into Polkadot. There'll be a triple toggle. Which blockchain are you using? We're offering team token locks, we're offering liquidity locks, and we're going to be offering Mint. For any, or the goal is to gradually expand blockchain after blockchain after blockchain and just completely encapsulate the crypto ecosystem. We have the dev power, we have the intelligence, and this is exactly what we're going to be going forward with. Next up, well, actually, I won't go into that yet. So that's the idea, guys, is any project on any blockchain is going to launch through Smart Launch. They're going to use the 3 security pillars. It's going to be a foundational pillar in crypto. Why would you not use this? That's a huge red flag to not use it. And that's the game. It's going to be essentially free to use, corner the market, brand recognition. Off we go. Of course, anybody can try to compete, but I think brand does quite a lot for projects. Moving into the third cross-chain integration, Matic. So we are working right now. Expect to see some things hopefully within the next 7 days in regards to QuickSwap. So this is essentially Uniswap on Matic. There's not a lot of liquidity on there yet, but that's only because projects haven't added it. So we get a lot of people complaining, you know, oh, Uniswap fees are really high, and this is very relevant. And then centralized exchanges, liquidity is too low. So, you know, there's kind of the dilemma, liquidity versus fees. Well, QuickSwap is going to have the best of both worlds. We're going to port over a ton of liquidity over to QuickSwap. And then if you want to do essentially feeless trading, I'm pretty sure it actually will be feeless. Pop over to QuickSwap. You can buy, sell, swap for absolutely free. I'm fairly certain that I need to check in with our developers, but that TrustSwap actually pays for the fees, and you guys are good to go. So it's going to be feeless buying and selling of TrustSwap, whether it's through a fiat on-ramp or through a decentralized exchange, and that's going to be coming very, very, very fast. So look forward to that. On the note of centralized exchanges, oh man, if you guys have seen my Twitter profile, I don't know how many times I've had to rag over centralized exchanges. First it was Beaky, then it was CoinTiger, now it's LA Token. We won their listing contest. They're a top 20 or I think top 20 exchange actually. And we won their contest a month ago, more than a month ago, something like that. We still haven't been listed. Nobody's reached out to me. So if you're listening to this, feel free to go leave some love notes in the LA Token Telegram or on their Twitter. At this point, I almost don't even want to be listed on LA Token. We're going to have amazing feeless transactions on QuickSwap. For me, it's just a matter of principle. It's just I'm sick and tired of these centralized exchanges just with such shady practices. Right on. So that's a lot. Actually, you know what? I'm going to skip a little. I had one point. I'm going to put it after a couple more. Okay, a couple more things before I mention to that one. So we are redoing all of our smart contract designs. So right now, if you go into the staking portal, it has that blue thing. A little dated. If you go to our smart swaps, not the best. We know. It would actually be better, you guys, if you see designs that you don't like, please tell us. Be like, guys, this sucks. And guess what? We're going to fix it. You know, we need you guys to tell us where we can improve, and then we will improve. You want us to improve on our writing, on our PR, on our branding, on our marketing, let us know. We've even put tweets out that say, if you were the marketing manager of TrustSwap, what would you do? And then we paid out $100 bounties for the best comments. So we really value your guys' opinions and we act on it. So that being said, we're a little bit of a tangent there. We're redoing all of the designs. We're going to be moving it over to that dashboard.trustswap.org page. It's going to be a lot cleaner. I think we should actually have the staking portal fully migrated by the end of the week or within the next 7 days. That's going to look really smooth. And then we're going to also migrate over our smart contracts as well. Pardon me. Including in the dashboard, you know, also we have the Launchpads live in the dashboard. You can see the performance of the Launchpads. We're going to include the airdrops, the swap drops, their performance. And something new that is coming out, this is actually very cool, is what's the biggest problem when a Launchpad comes out and they have weekly vesting? Well, it's Friday at 9 p.m. Everyone's sitting by their computers, which I mean isn't even good in the first place because you're all wasting your time. You know, it'd be nice if you could go about your day because everyone's playing the dump game. You know, everyone's like, okay, here come the tokens, and they're in and sell. And so there goes the big red candle, and it's just rinse every time it happens, and it's just not healthy for a project. So what if, rather than one distribution per week, essentially you had one distribution per hour? You know, let's say your vesting period is 30 days, and you're going to get vested the fractional amount on an hourly basis. Now, you can claim your tokens whenever you want. You can claim them on hour 1, but of course that wouldn't make sense with gas fees being so high. You know, you'd probably be getting $10 worth of tokens on a $20 gas fee, or you could wait till, you know, let's say day 3, and then it's maybe $500 worth of tokens for a $20 gas fee. So yeah, maybe it works then for you to withdraw, but you can withdraw at any point during those 30 days. And essentially, if you have 1,000 tokens, you know, and you withdraw 30 on day 5 and then 40 on day this, what, it doesn't matter. You can kind of structure it however you want. This is going to totally mitigate, big sell pressure events on different projects. And very, very cool is that is exactly what we're going to be using for Modify. We're going to be using this this slow vesting. So there won't be this big distribution event where the price kind of takes a big hit or everyone's kind of waiting anxiously for the distribution to come. That's not happening. And this will all live inside your dashboard. So you just click, choose token, there's Modify, click it, there's your vested tokens. And this is going to be a branded and essentially white labelable solution where anybody for any vesting can use this. So it doesn't matter if you're on a TrustSwap Launchpad or not, come on in, use this software. It's actually totally free to use. We're not charging anything for it, no percentage of tokens. In the future, we might. Right now, in my mind, it's the brand recognition game, establish ourselves in the marketplace. And then, later on, turn up the dial on the fees a little bit. But for now, let's just get everyone into the TrustSwap ecosystem, everybody using the services. That's the name of the game. We're doing just fine on our bankroll and our cash reserves. I can promise you guys that. We just want to build brand recognition and really dominate the space right now. So with all that being said, that's a lot. How long have I been talking for here? Let me check. 20 minutes. Wow. I still have some stuff to go through, but that's pretty good. So anyways, with that being said, that's a lot of content, a lot of developments, and some fairly substantial ones at that. The one that I'm probably the most excited for is the smart launch, essentially being the token generator for any blockchain. Call it Polkadot, call it Matic, call it Cardano, call it Ethereum. We're going to be the go-to. It's just a matter of time, and I'm very excited for that. That's a huge benefit for people to not only purchase swap, but to also stake it and take it out of circulating supply so they can mine these tokens. So very excited for that. And so with all that being said, we have a lot of things coming up within the next 30 to 45 days. We got the full revamp of the website. That's coming out in 30 to 45 days. The white paper, 30 to 45. Mint, phase 1, 30 to 45. Swappable. We're actually going to start pushing public beta, ideally sometime next week. And then probably full public release, 30 to 45 days. And so also in that 30 to 45 day timeline, we've just hired on a massive marketing agency, and these guys are called Affect. And they're going to be essentially helping with the entire branding of TrustSwap, the marketing, the public PR. This is marketing for normies, onboarding people to TrustSwap who are just looking to get into crypto. I think we have some really normie-friendly branding that we can push forward with, things like become the VC through our launchpads. Venture capital has been exclusive for big money, an exclusive amount of players. And now we're essentially democratizing that to the people. Just hold a little bit of this token. You're going to get guaranteed access every time. And so that really brings me into the next portion of the thing, which is the launchpads. So again, I'd urge you guys to go check out dashboard.trustswap.org, or even on the main website now. We've actually updated this. It shows the performance of our launchpads. I think some of the launchpads in the last little bit have had a rocky start. Let's be real. Yield had a rocky start. A lot of them have had a rocky start, but they are all cruising now. Yield currently up 634%. MobiPay 575. Coin 320. Chain Games 195. Freeway 600%. And that's 6x. And Glitch is also up. Sorry, it's not 6x. Because Glitch is up 112. It's 112, so that would be up 12%. But things take time, and we're learning our lessons along the way. As each Launchpad project goes through, our contract with the Launchpad projects gets a lot more strict and a lot more concise. If you guys check the Medium post, you'll see that we signed a lot of terms with Modify to make sure that the launch is a lot smoother, a lot cleaner, and a lot more beneficial to everybody involved. This includes, just quickly skimming down the list, from website security to disclosing the vesting schedule of all the tokens. This includes advisors, influencers, all that kind of thing. Adding $20,000 of ETH liquidity, that's $400,000 total, immediately upon listing. Distributing to Launchpad participants within 1 hour of Uniswap listing. Locking liquidity within 3 hours of listing. Blocking 75% or more of the team and dev fund tokens, and also being active in the Telegram group. Oh man, I was frustrated with that one. on the last Launchpad. So we're going to have, for the first 7 days, they have guaranteed to be available for 24 hours a day for 7 days of that week to answer all your guys' questions. And so far, from what I've seen in their Telegram group, they are incredibly responsive. Or I don't know if you guys have been seeing, Umbrella Network and Finex Flow are just on fire right now. Finex Flow is obviously a liquidity aggregator. Umbrella Network is an Oracle. And I would say that Modify, and they've both done, I think, like, well, Finex Flow is 10x. Umbrella Network is, well, that's, I think, actually substantially more, or maybe 10x, something like this. They're both doing fantastic. And Modify is a combination of the two. It's the only Oracle aggregator out there. So this is bringing together the multi-billion-dollar industry of Oracles, and it's a one-stop shop. You want to use an Oracle? Boom, Modify. You got it. To wrap it up, extra things that are currently happening: staking rewards. You got Unimex. 6.25% of all fees on Unimex are going to swap stakers. We just sent out a distribution yesterday that equated to around $2,000 of USD value, so around 2,000 swap, let's say. And then shopping.io is giving 10% of all their profits to swap buybacks and then swap stakers. So if you guys have been seeing what's happened with shopping.io, these guys are on fire. They went from $1 to essentially $70. Maybe they're sitting at $50 right now. But essentially, shopping.io allows you to buy on Amazon, eBay, Walmart using cryptocurrency. And that to me is huge. You have comparables like Travala, which is just buying flights and maybe accommodations, I'm not even sure. And they're worth, I don't know, $134 million fully diluted market cap. And then you got shopping.io, which is like a 50 times larger sector. It's like buy anything online with the potential to scale. Travala is so niche. Shopping.io is just wide open. And we have locked in, it's either 5, I think it's a 10-year deal, 10-year contract. It's either 5 or 10 years. With shopping.io, that 10% of profits are going to be going to swap buybacks and then distributed to stakers. So if that does well, TrustSwap ecosystem is going to be doing very, very well. So hats off to shopping.io. And we're always looking to strike deals with these guys. And essentially, we're just providing marketing support, brand recognition, and they're providing rewards to swap stakers. Management team like myself, I don't get anything out of the deal. It's all going to the swap stakers. Then to finally polish it off, 2 things. Right on. Crypto escrow. I know this is one thing that's been on our roadmap for a little while. Once we polish up with Swappable, Adam's team is going to be flipping over to crypto escrow. So this could be ready by late Q2, early Q3, maybe a little later. Things take time. And then SwapDex. It's ready to go. We have it. You can limit order on SwapDex. But we're just holding it right now because we want to girth out our products that we have right now. I feel like we're way too thin. You know, like for example, our crypto escrow. I had such high hopes for crypto escrow, and it's a ghost town in there. And so the question is, why is it a ghost town? And let's fix that. I think a big portion is UI and accessibility. So you know, when Swappable launches, it's going to be a much cleaner, sexier, easier to use UI for crypto escrow. And I think that's really going to help. And we're just going to triple down on trying to actually make these things that we've already built work. Rather than, you know, at the beginning, a lot of the things I was saying was let's build a lot of software services and then see which ones start to take off and which ones do well. And, you know, so we're seeing that through the team token locks. We're seeing that through the Launchpad, and then double down on those, which we are. But with that being said, I feel like we haven't given a good chance for these other ones that have a ton of potential to really shine. And so rather than spreading ourselves too thin right now, we're onboarding at a breakneck pace new employees. But at the same time, you know, you need to be methodical. People need to get accustomed to the culture, to the workflow. So we don't want to go too wide. We want to go deep. As Bilbo Baggins says, like butter spread over too much bread. We don't want to do that. We want to have a nice piece of bread with thick butter. So that's where we're at. That's the roadmap. Those are the updates that I think of off my head as I was preparing for this. So let me pop into the chat now. We have 157 people watching this. That's fantastic. Really cool to see. I'm going to scroll all the way to the top. Alex says, it looks like you might be in your grandma's house. That could be the issue. Come on, guys. This is styling. This is the natural look. Is Swap investing in BTC like Tesla? No, we are not. But we are investing in crypto startups. So sometimes we get allocations, and TrustSwap takes advantage of those allocations. In addition, every Launchpad project, TrustSwap earns 0.5% of those tokens, fully diluted supply. So you guys can do the math on what we earn for, say, coin or yield or things of that nature. It's quite good, quite good. All right. Boom, 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 boom. When will partial unstake be available? Awesome, great question. So once one of our freelance developers wraps up on the slow vesting that I was talking about, the gradual vesting, he's actually going directly to partial unstake. So I would say expect to see that within 2 weeks or so. Okay, question. Do you have an idea on how much USDC will be allocated for each base staker of the Modify Launchpad? So a lot of confusion around this, for sure for people who are new to the TrustSwap ecosystem. For the vets, you know how it goes. But essentially, let's say there's a $2 million pool. Essentially what we do is we say, hey, listen, there's $2 million. Who wants a piece? And let's say 5,000 people put their hand up. We say, okay, great. We're going to split up these $2 million amongst 5,000 people. So it essentially really depends on how many people put their hand up to say, I want a piece of that pie. And that is what the allocation amount is. Now, of course, the nuance in there is there are different tiers. So tier 1 essentially get a 1x allocation. Well, 1x on what? It's just 1x in comparison to the rest of the tiers. So 1x if you're staking 3,000 swap, 1.5x if you're staking 8,000 swap, and then it is a 2x if you have a swap score of 20,000, and a 3x if you have a swap score of 50,000. So swap score is your average amount of swap staked over 60 days. So if you've had, let's say, 50,000 swap staked for 59 days, well, you still don't have the swap score of 50,000 because you're a day short. So, but if you had extra swap stake, then you could get there faster. So there's actually a calculator on dashboard.trustswap.org. Just go to the left sidebar, calculator, and you can check to find out, hey, listen, I want to get into the 20,000 swap score. Enter in what your swap score is today. Enter what day you want to have that swap score, what swap score you want to have, and it will tell you what you need to buy in swap. So very, very handy. All right, great. Of course, the when Binance question. So that'll come in time. First step, I think it's a relevant question. I'll address it. Everyone thinks Binance is going to pump your coin. Binance does not pump the coin. Everyone thinks Binance will pump the coin. Binance allows for more accessibility. And so this is allowing for some more, it's a slow growth thing. Whenever someone lists on Binance, the coin price does this, boop, boop, up and down. It's a pump and it's a dump. But what it does do is, a lot of people that you see in the group, they're like, oh, like I run 2 of the largest Facebook groups in the world, crypto Facebook groups. And, whenever we post about a certain coin, they say, oh, I don't see it on Binance. Where can I get it? Or I don't see it on Binance. What am I doing wrong is what they say. And so it's for those people. Those are the people that, it's like, oh, okay, well, first you're going to need to get MetaMask. And then you're going to need to go to Uniswap. Then you sign this transaction twice. And you pay $80 gas fee. So they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do that. So that's the kind of person who we want to be able to onboard through Binance. And so that just takes time. It's not like a big explosion on day one. And I think you guys can all back me up on this, is that I never once have seen a coin list on an exchange and then thought, oh, I wonder what that coin is, or, oh, I'm going to go buy that coin now. Exchange listings are just a dime a dozen these days. Nobody cares about them. It's a really empty event. It just adds for more accessibility. And then I would make the argument that, if someone's like, where can I buy this coin? I don't see it on Binance. We would say, go to the website, TrustSwap.org, and just click the big buy button. You can buy it with your credit card. Don't even have to deposit to Binance. So that's even more frictionless in my books. All right. Does TrustSwap have any patents in place for any aspects of the platform? Nope. We do not patent things because, in my mind, especially in crypto, it's kind of lame to patent things. I'd just rather outcompete and outperform and create brand recognition. That's, to me, a signal of strength. We don't need to protect things, because to protect an idea, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who disagree with me on this, but it's just not the right optics in crypto. And I think we can just outcompete. And, if somebody wants to copy us, good for them, but we're just going to outperform them. Lemon La Croix. Yeah, actually, just don't usually get the La Croix. I usually get bubblies, lime bubblies. This was a switch up. Okay, yeah, so here's a good question. I actually will love to talk about this one. This is a question from Timmy. What are you guys doing to combat competitors like PokeStarter? So let's break down PokeStarter real quick. 10,000 people, 15,000 people apply to their Launchpad, and 500 people get in. And those 500 people pay $4,000, $5,000 in gas to be able to get in. There's a big gas war. There's a whitelisting contest. Pretty much nobody is getting in. And as of right now, PokeStarter is a one-trick pony. All they do is launch pads. So that's phenomenal. Good for those guys. They're launching 1,001 projects. A lot of the projects they've launched, we have denied. And, they're still doing great on their market release. Good for them. We just have higher standards. Unfortunately, some things, like the glitch launch, what are you going to do? Things take time, just like we seeing with Orbit, just like we're seeing with Moby. Things take time. It's not like, oh, it didn't 50x on the first 24 hours. Like, let me grab you a tissue. I'm sorry, this is the real world. That's like, it's unbelievable when that kind of thing happens. But to kind of backpedal to the question here, PokeStarter's business model is not sustainable. It is exclusive for whales. I'm shocked that they're valued at what they are, that people aren't getting sick and tired of their system. And, I wish them the best. But how we're competing with PokeStarter is we actually have a business. We have a business model and multiple revenue streams. What they're doing is essentially just a one-trick pony, and it's very, very, very exclusive and disenfranchising a lot of people who are taking part. So, whoever enjoys PokeStarter, that's great. But I think what we're doing with, providing guaranteed allocations, no gas wars, I think that's fairly competitive in itself. The thing that PokeStarter is maybe doing, quote unquote, better is launching more projects. But like I mentioned, we're in talks with 10 projects right now in talks. And so that's like the ones that we've shortlisted. And we could launch all of them, within the next week if we wanted. But we just do things a little bit differently. We're really going for longevity rather than just these like quick pumps. And I know in crypto, everyone has this like short-term mentality that just want to see the big pump and, oh my God, ride the 10X. But we're really trying to build a sustainable business here. And so we're being methodical. If token price moves, that's fantastic. But that's not our focus. What our focus is building brand recognition, building real software and customer bases. And the rest will follow. So I'm being very patient. Things like Binance, we're going to get listed. We will go to Binance. When will it happen? We'll find out. I'm in no rush. Let's do it when it strategically makes the most sense. Boom. Question, has anything come from the DuckDAO partnership? Short answer, no. And then someone says, can you speak on the IDO lottery scams versus TrustSwap? So yeah, that's kind of what I covered. It's not just PokeStarter that does these gas wars and, only 300 people get in out of thousands. That's a very common practice. And essentially the reason they do that is, well, I won't speculate too hard, but let's imagine they had the power to choose who they wanted to get in. And maybe it's different influencers and different key strategic investors. Let's imagine potentially they were able to leave the actual retail investor out in the cold and with nothing. So then that just leaves retail frothing at the mouth to be able to buy in at launch. I won't speculate any more than that, but I'll just say that I really enjoy how TrustSwap is doing things. I think it's by far the most fair method. Boom. See, everyone's getting pumped on the fiat on-ramp, the holy trinity. To use minting, will we have to pay gas fees? Yes, of course, you got to pay gas fees for the mint, but there's no other fees. So will the mining reposition from a deflationary into inflationary? So for someone who's doing the mint, they can choose if they want it to be inflationary or deflationary currency. And in terms of the TrustSwap currency, we're deflationary. And by people using the farms in the mint ecosystem, the token generator, that's essentially just taking more swap out of circulating supply and putting it into the staking portals. All right. Someone says Cardano, please, and I say that's on the roadmap. Things just take time. I'm a guy that just likes to say what we're working on. Some projects feel it's more beneficial to just do a big release when it actually happens. I like to be transparent. We're working on a lot. A lot is under underway. Some people are saying, oh, Swappable should have come sooner. Things take time. I think you can look to a lot of projects and platforms, and they just take a long time to build. And so we're going as fast as we can, and I think we're doing a really good job as well. You speak like Christian Bale. Never got that before. Quick swap, excitement about quick swap. That's good. Why isn't swap on Binance Exchange and other centralized exchanges? So actually, if you go to CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, go to CoinGecko. It's better. CoinGecko, and then go to the markets tab. We're actually on 10 different centralized exchanges. Some, I think maybe 4 of them are in the top 20. A couple of them are in the top 10. I think one of them is even in the top 5. So we're on many centralized exchanges. And guess what? The liquidity is terrible. I have a secret for you guys. Nobody really cares about centralized exchanges besides Binance, Coinbase, and I would maybe even argue not even Kraken. Nobody uses them. Everyone was so excited for centralized exchanges, so we listed on pretty much all of them. And if you compare the liquidity in between Uniswap and the volume, the real volume I'm talking, between Uniswap and these centralized exchanges, it's not even comparable. I think like if you were to make a $40 purchase on some of these centralized exchanges, you can go into, like I said, CoinGecko, click markets, and it'll show the +2, -2. On Uniswap, it'll probably say like $30,000. And that means you can either buy or sell $30,000, and it will only move the price 2% in either direction. It's actually probably at like 40,000 or 50,000 now. So that's fantastic liquidity, because you can make big buys and big sells without moving the price. But for these centralized exchanges, well, you put in $100 and you just swing the price 2%. The liquidity is terrible. So liquidity is king. And I'm not really inclined to pay market makers to just put liquidity up and play the books. It just doesn't make any sense. And this is what QuickSwap is going to do. It's going to be feeless trading with deep liquidity. So this is the best of all the worlds. When swappable, as I mentioned, yeah, hopefully next week for the public beta. Someone says shame on Coin. Coin has been doing, things happen with projects. They had some issues with the Amazon web servers, and Coin actually has been one of my favorite projects coming out of the Launchpad. Scum team, I'd totally disagree with that. I think Damon is a really stand-up guy. They're really active in their community, and they're doing the best. I think what they did with that Coin person where they're trying to claim copyright over their name, on one hand, it's a strong business decision, but it's totally blind to the culture of crypto. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Claiming patents on things, you're going to get a lot of flack from the OGs in the space. So someone says Coin isn't up 300x. So no, 300% is different from 300x. So you can check out, again, the homepage has updated stats, TrustSwap.org, or in the dashboard.TrustSwap.org. And this is why we're doing a website redo, because there's so much stuff all over the place. So we're just gonna get a lot more streamlined here. Public price for Modify, that is going to be 20 cents. Uniswap launch, I believe, is at 24 cents. Oh, my chat just jumped a little bit. Sorry, guys. Let me scroll back up. Okay, here we go. Someone says, I regretted initiating the 7-day unstake period, so I can decline this second transaction and remain in my staking position. I believe you can. If not, you can just withdraw and put it back in, and that won't change your swap score. Everyone's saying some congrats. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Definitely putting in big work, big hours every day for you guys. Escrow involvement, yeah, that'll come with Swappable. We're going to have the peer-to-peer swaps for OTC deals on ERC20s. The big thing, a lot of people don't talk. Well, so I'll talk about 2 things on Swappable that I'm really excited for that maybe doesn't get highlighted enough. So I'm just going to write these down. So OTC and, assets. Okay, so The OTCs, they're, for example, Elon Musk said, how are we? Well, actually, Elon Musk may have not gone OTC, but a lot of these OTC deals getting into Bitcoin or getting into crypto, when you're moving really large sums of money, or even, transferring ownership of really large allocations of tokens, when it's $1 million, you want to be able to do this in a trustless manner. And so that's a big thing that we're going to be doing. I've talked about this a lot. I don't want to hit it over the head, or just beat the dead horse with how excited I am about it. But there's huge potential for TrustSwap to really corner the OTC market by just essentially having negligible fees, skipping the lawyers, skipping all the, right now people are just doing it based on trust or with middlemen, and it's just not how it should be done. And so I'm really excited for us to be able to brand that and really get that out into the wild. And then another thing on Swappable that I'm quite excited for is, so we're talking about NFTs and ERC20s, but NFTs right now are kind of like artwork or music or kind of these kinds of things. We're talking about tokenized assets. This is what I'm excited to be bringing to Swappable, where NFTs are backed by real world assets. So an NFT actually represents real world value and you can trade it. And this is where I'm really going to be pushing for Swappable to emerge into. Personally, I'm actually not that excited about the artwork side of NFTs, which is kind of ironic, but I'm very excited about asset-backed NFTs, bringing the financial sector into crypto, being able to transact very seamlessly. And so that is what I'm excited for, because I think there's a lot more value in one project or one company, tokenizing an asset like a real estate building in fractionalized NFTs, rather than this kind of artist coming on and doing a thing for his art. Sure, it could be like $2 million, $3 million, $4 or $5 million, but what I really want to push for is these like $300 million deals that are essentially being tokenized through NFTs, and they're tradable. And I think that's gonna be very cool, as well as land ownership. You buy a piece of land, take a photo, boom, 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 boom. Here's the piece of land that you actually own. As it goes up in value, your NFT goes up in value. Very cool stuff that's possible. How long is your deal with Unimex? Someone says. So again, Unimex gives TrustSwap 6.25% of fees. That's coded into their smart contract, guys. So that's indefinite. That's not going anywhere. So as Unimex succeeds, the fees will keep going up, which can just be massive. And then also, as you guys know, as I mentioned, shopping.io, 10% going to be distributed quarterly. Very, very cool. How do you see your swap score? Go to the dashboard.trustswap.org, and then there should be one of the things on the left. I don't know what it's called, but you should be able to check that out. Put in your ERC20 address. Someone says, take away market share from other launchpads such as PokeStarter. So right now, I mean, how many launchpad platforms are there now? It's got to be at least 20. So we're not really, it's just oversaturated now. I kind of shake my head at it, but I think we're doing fairly well in launchpads, and we're building a team. We're getting the good quality projects, and we're only getting better. We have a big pipeline. Expect to see more projects coming out once Modify closes up. Expect to see another announcement shortly after for another launchpad. We're just being methodical. Launchpad isn't an industry that we're trying to corner, because it's impossible to corner, for the reason that if you are PokeStarter, for example, and you just say, we're going to take all the launchpads, we're going to try to corner the launchpad market, eventually that plan doesn't work, because they're going to bring on a project that does not perform, or performs very poorly, or exit scams, or something bad happens, and they're going to lose all their credibility, and that platform is going to die. So you can't bring on too much, and if you're not bringing on a lot, then there's always going to be pieces for other people to pick up. Just like TrustSwap has said no to a lot of projects, PokeStarter has picked them up. So we're not trying to corner the launchpad sector. We're just trying to do us, and we're trying to provide you guys with good, highly vetted projects. Hats off to PokeStarter. Their projects have been performing very well. We just don't want to take a risk by giving you guys a project that we feel has a potential to perform poorly. So what we're going to do is just take it methodically. We're, whether it's 1, 2, 3 a month, like that's kind of the domain we want to live in. And then just to, add a little bit of color to Glitch, because I think everyone's like, oh, Glitch is performing so poorly. Guys, it's actually still up. So, if you're up 10% on a 1 month, time frame, or a 2 week time frame, if you're complaining about that, I don't know what to tell you. That's still pretty phenomenal. If you're always hoping that it's always going to be a 10x, I think we can all hope for that. but it's never guaranteed. And I think hoping for something like that every time it's just impractical. And you could say, oh, PokerStarter, is giving 10x's and 100x's. Sure, but who is it giving 10 and 100x's to? Not you, because you're not getting in, or there's maybe a 1% chance that you are, because only 300 people out of 14,000 are getting in on these allocations. Will Launchpad projects become more frequent? So yeah, we'll see. Maybe 1 to 3 a month. Moving with the market. It's not our core offering. Launchpads are very cool. We understand that it's one of the things that people are the most excited about. So we're going to continue to build out that vertical. But I don't think it's necessarily a long-term sustainable business model that we can just lean on too heavily. We need to build out other services and other products that will survive a bear market. Right now things are very good. I would argue this is euphoria mode. Elon Musk and Tesla just bought Bitcoin for $1.5 billion. Bitcoin can do no wrong. Crypto is the future. Markets work in cycles, and there is always going to be a bear cycle. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens to projects like PokerStarter that are exclusively launchpads. They're going to need to diversify their business model as well as DuckDAO. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Will USA be able to buy swap in the website with credit cards? That's a good question. That will be up to the third-party provider. I'm fairly certain that they will be. We'll see, though. Rob says, any plans to do anything on Binance Smart Chain, even if at least the gas fees get reduced? So Rob, yeah, you must have come in a little bit later. So we've already moved our token locks and our liquidity locks over to Binance Smart Chain. They're already live on testnet. We're just working with the Binance Smart Chain team to do a big announcement, big collaboration, big launch. We just don't want to kind of do this on our end. We want some cross promotion. So Binance Smart Chain is already ready. We just have a couple T's to cross and I's to dot. And then in terms of fee reduction, we're going to be moving over to QuickSwap, or at least porting some liquidity over to QuickSwap. And that's essentially going to make buying and selling swap feeless. So that's our solution, rather than Binance Smart Chain for the buying and selling, because it's a little bit more friction. Someone says, please also compare it to paid network. So paid also doesn't give guaranteed allocations at all. So we're the only one that I know of actually that does guaranteed allocations. Oh yeah, here's a great question actually. I forgot to talk about this. What about the co-op with Visa? That's a pretty big one. TrustSwap would be launching a new way of crypto to fiat with Visa. Is that why you explained with on-ramp? So it's different. The fiat on-ramp is not the Visa integration, partnered with Connect Financial. So Connect Financial, they're doing their thing. They're taking their time. We can't push them any faster than they can go. So as Connect Financial is ready, TrustSwap will be ready. And that's about all I can say on that. So if you guys want updates on Connect Financial, who is integrating this Visa collaboration with TrustSwap, pop into the Connect Financial Telegram or Discord and ask them questions. Someone says, when top 50, what's the time scale? Again, I mean, that's impossible to guess, but all we can do is build products and services that make us a top 50 caliber project and then let the rest happen of itself. And that is really what I feel tools like Smart Launch are going to be able to achieve, especially when they move cross-chain. When you have a service that essentially creates a security ecosystem from start to finish, 0 fees to launch a token that's fully audited twice over on any blockchain or multiple blockchains, that is an incredible service. And then when you create mining pools for all of the tokens that launch, and the only way to mine these tokens is through TrustSwap, that TrustSwap is going to be porting into these mining pools. And just think, if there's, let's say, 100 tokens, well, let's be conservative, actually. Let's say there's 20 tokens that get created every day. Let's say, so that'd be 600 tokens a month, I believe. So that's 600 different mining pools. And if those tokens have any value at all, tons of people are going to be mining each one. So think of how much swap value is going to be going in, because we'll have the APY showing on what these mining pools are putting out based on the token value. Expect to see the circulating supply drop drastically. I think I can make that prediction, because these mining pools are going to fill very, very quickly, very fast, from people who have not entered the TrustSwap ecosystem yet and just want to get their hands on these tokens, essentially for free, because all they got to do is buy swap, put in for a bit, and then they're free to do what they want with TrustSwap. All right. Max allocation per user for Modify. I'd point you guys to the Medium article. Please read, guys. Lots of spoon feeding happening around here. So max allocation is a 3x allocation when you stake 50,000 TrustSwap. Swap score of 50,000. Are you as excited for the coin exchange release as I am? Probably not. You might be more excited than I am. Focused on other things. I'm pumped for the coin team, but it's kind of not in my vision anymore. They're going to do great. I've always known they're going to do great. So it's not like this big thing that I have marked off on my calendar or anything. I don't even know when they're launching their exchange. But I'm excited to see it go live. How many people are working at TrustSwap? So we have, 16 developers approximately, plus project managers and overseers. Let's just call it 16. We have 4 people on the Launchpad team. That's about 20. And then let's say mixed in with other ops guys and just odds and ends, we're probably sitting at around 25, 27 people working on TrustSwap. Maybe about half to 2/3 full time. Haven't really counted it. But then we just hired Affect, so that's another 7, the marketing firm. So I don't know if that counts, but there's another 7 if you want to count it or not. They'll be working part-time, of course. I have received an airdrop in my wallet of what I think is a fake Modify token. You would be correct. The airdrop has not happened yet. Okay. Someone said, this coin has been delivering dividends continuously to the stakers. That is great, and that is the idea. We always want to add value to the stakers, and we're coming out with new ideas, new staking portals, new ways to add value, and we're never going to disenfranchise people who have already staked in the main portal in other ways. So, for example, if you already staked a bunch of swap in the main staking portal, we've launched these new mining pools for the mint tokens. It's not like, oh no, my TrustSwap is stuck over here. It's like, not only are you going to be earning Launchpad access, are you going to be earning APY based on swap rewards and airdrops as well, but you're also going to have a multiplier on the yield farms. You're going to have a 50% multiplier. So we're always going to be looking for ways to get the stakers really nice and happy. The goal, take the swap out of the circulating supply, make swap incredibly scarce. That is the game plan. That's what we're going to continue to do. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Calendar of the Launchpad is empty. I don't think it is. If you check out the calendar on the dashboard, there are definitely things on there. Modify launches tomorrow, 9 a.m. PST. That is in about 16 hours from now. Do you have any other acquisitions you're eyeing up? Oh, I'm always eyeing up acquisitions and buyouts. Tried to buy out Unicrypt. I'll say it. I tried to buy them out, but they weren't interested. So what are you going to do? Are you hiring? Almost always, yes. If you provide value, send me a DM on Telegram, and don't just say, hello, sir, I like to work TrustSwap. Be like, hi, here's my specialty. Here's what I've done. Here's who I've worked with. Here's my experience. Here's my resume. Here's how I want to help out. Here's what I think I can contribute. And here is my availability. And even potentially, here's what I expect in compensation. Give me the full thing. Let's skip the foreplay. Just get right into it. Tell me what value you can provide, and let's dive right in. If you send me a message that just says hello, I actually walk into you. No offense, I just get way too many of those messages. Uh-oh, we jumped again. All right, give me a second. Let me scroll around. Okay, and then Gavin says the strategic investor thing was the issue with coin. So yeah, probably because some people sold at the launch, or maybe it went before. Oh no, the distribution schedule was off. That's what happened with coin, and then strategic investors were able to sell before. But you know what? Well, no, actually, it was at 50 cents then. Regardless, we're getting it way tighter now, so expect that to be a lot cleaner of a process. What's your take on Axion? You've been supporting this, right? Yep. So I have a full AMA live, well, kind of like I did an interview with the guys from Axion today on YouTube, so feel free to check that out. I think it's a fantastic ecosystem. I think out of staking, I think Axion does staking the best, and their team is just crushing it. So I'm a huge supporter of Axion. Yeah. Is the Modify airdrop for the top 1,000 stakers, top 1,000 Dash, or 1,000 swap score? We're always going to be doing airdrops by swap score now, because why not? That's it. That was a terrible answer. Swap score because we want to make sure people are in the staking portal, and also if you're staking, that ensures you're not a U.S. resident, which means we can issue you tokens without regulatory scrutiny or anything like that. Because just giving out tokens to U.S. residents might raise some flags. So we're going by swap score now. Boom, boom, boom. So new website next week. New website this week, probably. Yeah, look to see some reskinning, hopefully by the end of the week. And someone says, enjoy the mountains. Thank you very much. I have been enjoying it, trying to get my work-life balance, hitting Whistler Mountain fairly often for snowboarding. I've been enjoying it a lot. Do you plan on having more than one Launchpad per month? Yes, but it all depends on timelines, the quality of projects, deal flow, all that kind of stuff. I would anticipate we'll have one by the end of February, or at least March, early March. Will there still be Launchpad NFTs? This is a great question. This is actually why we started building Swappable, was for the golden tickets. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that the system we have right now is actually working really well. I think it's the fairest system that we currently have. And in the last little while, people have actually put out some diagrams showing the inequality that would come if we started issuing NFTs. Some people in the TrustSwap ecosystem have 2 million swaps staked. They would get a lot of NFTs, and they would essentially just control the entire market. So of course you can buy the NFTs off them if you want to get involved in the Launchpads, and these NFTs would be fully traded, and these NFTs guarantee you an access to the Launchpad. But then it kind of becomes a little bit more of a capitalistic model, with essentially the person who has the money is the most likely to get in. So it's not necessarily where we want to move right now. I would say it's our plan B or plan C, based on how much the Launchpads fill up in the next little while. For example, let's say the Modify Launchpad, the 1x allocation is only $100. Well, then we got to reevaluate some things, because it's not worth people's time. We want to make sure that people are getting at least a few $100s for the tier 1 allocation. Boom. Could any NFT list on Swappable? Will creators have to be in contact with you? Anyone can list on Swappable, fully open marketplace. Of course, you got to censor for illegal content, take that kind of stuff down, but otherwise it'll be open season. Okay, great question. Does the TrustSwap team review the vesting tokenomics of projects landing on the TrustSwap Launchpad, or you guys leave that up to the team? We don't just look it over. We actually redo it. We say, thank you for these tokenomics. We would totally redo it, and here's how we would like it to look. And that's the model that we've been taking for the last little while. So a lot of the tokenomics are kind of rebuilt from scratch. Of course, there's always a give and take, because we have our ideal and they have their ideal, and you meet somewhere in the middle. But we definitely, it's not just like, hey, what's your name? Oh, you're Modify? Yeah, great. Come on, let's do a Launchpad. We have hundreds upon hundreds of back and forth messages about everything from community management to tokenomics to launch process to marketing to influencers. It's very, very, very hands-on and very intensive. And so it's a slower, more methodical process. And we're not pushing them out like PokeStarter, but that's okay. We're very happy with where we're at right now. Someone said, yeah, can you rent out your stake with an NFT? This is a phenomenal idea. I really like this. We're going to have to look into this, though. This will be something that becomes priority once the staking portal gets full. Right now, we just have so many things we're working on. You guys have already heard me go through the list. Like, we just need to focus. There goes my pen. I need something to fidget with. One sec. We need something. Hold on. One sec. Apologies. Someone must be doing some yard work. But that'll happen a little bit later on. Okay, so let me read this. This is interesting. Question: when you implement the gradual token release feature, will this apply to pre-sale, seed round, and public sale, or only the TrustSwap run sale? Could end up causing a minor disadvantage. Okay, I see. Well, so first off, if the vesting period is, let's say, 30 days, in the airdrop model, you get airdropped on, let's say, day 1, day 10, day 20, day 30. So you get fully vested over 30 days in, just split up over the same equitable time frame, which is done in batches. So the slow vesting essentially is the same amount of tokens in the same time frame, and you can still withdraw on day 1, day 10, day whatever. Of course, day 1 maybe, if they're doing strategic rounds and team rounds on day 1 as an airdrop, then that would be a disadvantage because the slow release hasn't had time to pick up yet. I believe, I'll have to double check this, but what Modify is doing is it starts off with an airdrop and then it goes into the slow release. So what we're always trying to do is make sure that it's fair for everybody involved. So we're definitely working with projects all the time to make sure that things are, well, number one, Launchpad participants are kept as top priority. So we'll ensure that these minor disadvantages that you're talking about, which I see where you're coming from, are not happening. Okay, here's an interesting question. Many people were irritated with the address leak, doxing, and the ledger hack. Can TrustSwap help the crypto space create best practices for KYC? We want our pictures and names safe. So this was Civic is a company that was doing something like this, and I'm sure there's others out there now that have, crypto KYC. I don't know where they are now, so clearly it's not that hot of a topic. Also, we're never going to store KYC data because that just puts a huge liability on us. If we ever get hacked or something happens, an internal leak, just like what happened at Ledger, we don't want to be subjected to that. So people are going to have to submit their KYC every time, as of right now, to these projects individually. And unfortunately, if you want to take that risk, then you can participate. If you don't want to take that risk, then that's up to you. You can get in on the Uniswap sale. If you guys know of solutions that could work, I'm really open to hearing them. We haven't really looked into this yet, just because the way we're doing it right now is working really well. We don't want to overcomplicate it. If you guys remember the Moby sale, if you guys were around in the Moby sale, that sale, was painful. Does anyone remember how painful that was? All these Web3 hooks and smart contracts and people waiting and embedded KYC and SAFT forms. I was crying, guys. It was so bad. It was so bad. And because it's just too technically complex and too many things could go wrong and too many things did go wrong, even though we had tested them 1,000 times over. You're a lot of times relying on third-party providers like the KYC checker, which was an absolute disaster. So what we're doing now is we're just, boom, here's a Google Doc. Put your information into the Google Doc, the team collects it, and then they send that off to the third-party KYC. Way more streamlined, way cleaner. Someone says yield is about 7x. Not launched to public yet. Pretty good. I would agree. Yield has potential. Earning 20% APY. I think that is the best in crypto. That's a sustainable APY at least. Unless you're counting the TrustSwap staking portal and you include the Launchpad participation as the APY, then we have the best APY. What currency is going to be used to buy the Modify, please? That can be found in the Medium article. I'm sure it's a USDT or USDC, some kind of stable coin. Partial unstaking, Roger asks. I know, Roger, you're interested in partial unstaking. So yeah, that should be hopefully ready in about 2 weeks. Roadmap for the advertising company. Yeah, so great question. I think I talked about this at the beginning, but to reiterate, over the next 30 to 45 days, we're actually just going to really be working on our brand identity, our messaging, our strategy, really just kind of like building ourselves up like a coiled spring And then once the full website goes out, Swappable goes out, Mint goes out with the smart launch ecosystem, boom, we're pushing, and we're pushing very hard when that is all ready. Whereas, yeah, someone says, I hopped into this a little early. Where's escrow at? Long story short, this is going to essentially be revamped as Swappable comes out. Can you do wrap swap tokens on Binance Smart Chain? You definitely can. Definitely can. So look to see what happens with the Binance Chain integration, with the Polkadot integration, with the Matic integration, and Cardano. We are going to be expanding out methodically, no promises on timelines. I would say the first out of all of those, well, as I mentioned, Binance Smart Chain, we're already live on testnet. Second one, QuickSwap. We anticipate to be on QuickSwap for feeless swap token trading, and that's a Matic network. That should happen within the next week. Someone says, is swap ready if we enter a bear market? Hell yeah, we are. The idea here is we have resilient systems, token locks, liquidity locks, minting. These are systems that are incredibly resilient no matter the market circumstances. OTC escrows, exchanges. If you see Binance, for example, Binance does just fine even in a bear market because people are still trading. So things like OTC deals on Swappable, the NFTs backed by assets. This is all very bear market resiliency, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a few things that are bear market resilient as well. Ooh, I like this. Swap is doing what McAfee did for personal computers. You're offering financial protection tools for the new internet. 1 second, that's a screenshot. That is very rad. I like that. Unimex and shopping are such brilliant deals. Congrats on those. Thank you. Any more of this type coming? As they come, I'll let you guys know. Nothing in the pipeline as of right now. Oh, actually, we do have one. So I will announce it in a week. I'll announce it in about a week. I won't leak it yet. It's a good one, though. I think you guys are going to like it. If I unstake swap tokens and then stake again, will I lose my swap score? No, you will not. It's based on the average swap held on a daily snapshot in the staking portal. So if you're unstaked for a day and then you restake, you've only missed 1 day, so it'll only bring your swap score down a little bit. Someone says, would you consider creating a TrustSwap wallet? No. MetaMask is fantastic. Ledger is fantastic. Even I think there's like the Ethos wallet is one that we used for quite some time. That's a great wallet. So there's lots of great wallets out there. We don't need our own. Just it's a lot of work for not a lot of reason. We don't need the branding. How about a TrustSwap branding credit card? That's cool. And then you can also probably use it on the Connect Financial app. And then MobiPay app. Guys, that's coming out soon. So that's another way that you'll be able to pay with Swap. Not only with a credit card because of the Visa integration, but we forgot about MobiPay. Let's talk about MobiPay. TrustSwap's going to be on there. And so you're going to be able to tap to pay anywhere that has a Google Pay or Apple Pay terminal. So that's bajillions of merchants. That's the real number globally. So that's very, very cool. All right. Oh. Sorry, guys. Sometimes this chat jumps around a little bit. I got to re-scroll back to where it was. It's 5:17, actually. I promised my partner, my girlfriend here, that I'd be off in 3 minutes. So I'm going to try to wrap this up really quick. I'm going to try to find a couple of the last... Yeah, Win Crypto subscriptions. That's probably coming Q2, Q3. Plan for cooperation with Cardano. Yep, as mentioned, that is definitely planned. We're going to port over essentially the entire Smart Launch software over to Cardano, but that's further down the line. That'll probably happen after Polkadot and after Binance Smart Chain, which is, as I mentioned, already been completed. We're just looking for the marketing push. Is MobiPay big news coming? You mentioned last year. Yeah, so I'm definitely in contact with the team at MobiPay, and they have some crazy stuff coming. Any plans for an e-commerce subscription payment gateway on Shopify and such? So for subscriptions, yeah, for sure. So you'll be able to, like, if you're doing some kind of service, a monthly payment, that's where we're looking to niche in. But there's already options out there, whether it's MobiPay, whether it's Connect Financial, whether it's Trust. We're not necessarily looking to compete against these guys. We'll do the crypto subscriptions. Someone says Unimex airdrop now worth more than $500. Someone says any partnership with Darwinia. Yes. So yes, that's the yes. I participated in the MobiPay Launchpad. Yeah. Bajillion, someone says. All right, cool. Well, 5:19. I'm going to hop off, guys, as I promised. 5:20 at PST time. So thanks a lot, guys, for the questions. 143 people watching. It's been an awesome chat. Really great questions. I appreciate the quality. What I'm going to do in the next little bit, I'm going to make an announcement. You can have, if you guys are familiar with Clubhouse, it's essentially a chat room, voice chat room. And you can actually do that in Telegram groups now. So we're going to fire up a group chat in the TrustSwap chat, in the TrustSwap Telegram room. We'll see how it goes. I think it could be fun. Just kind of have some banter back and forth. And so we'll look forward to that coming soon. Crazy amount of stuff coming. If you guys haven't watched this, if you're just tuning in, please watch the first 20 minutes. That's where all the juice, all the nectar is. And then the rest was a Q&A. Anyways, guys, super pleased to be working with you guys, working for you guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, throw them in the Telegram room, DM me directly, whatever, open book, and look forward to chatting. See you guys.